Welcome to Reading with Mrs. Cox. Today we're going to learn about Sylvia Earle, ocean explorer. Let's begin. Sylvia Earle was born in 1935. Her parents took her to the beach when she was little. She saw crabs and other animals that live in the ocean. She started writing down notes about them. When Sylvia was 13, her family moved to Florida. They lived near the beach. She saw starfish and many other interesting types of sea life. She watched them closely. In 1952, Sylvia went to college. Afterwards, she started studying plants and animals that live in the ocean. Then she got married and started a family. In 1964, a group of scientists asked her to go on a research trip to the Indian Ocean. At the time, it was unusual for women to go on scientific trips. Sylvia went on the trip even though her children were very young. During the next few years, she went on more trips. In 1970, she led a team of women scientists that lived for 2 weeks in a small city. It was 50 feet underwater. In the 1970s, Dr. Earle had many adventures. She followed sperm whales and went on research trips to New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, and Alaska. In 1979, she walked on the ocean floor off the coast of Hawaii. The depth was 1,250 feet. No one has walked deeper in the ocean since. In the 1980s, she began studying animals such as the giant squids that live in the deepest parts of the ocean. She also helped design a small submarine called the Deep Rover. Dr. Earle used this submarine to go 3,300 feet below the ocean's surface. Her dives and her work on the Deep Rover earned her the nickname Her Deepness. Today, she's one of the most famous women scientists in the world. She is also an explorer in residence in the National Geographic Society. Her children, who are now grown up, sometimes help her with her work. She tries to teach young people about the wonders of the world's oceans. Dr. Earle also thinks it's very important to protect the oceans from pollution and other dangers. Scientists still do not understand many things about the different types of sea life. Dr. Earle hopes future scientists will keep studying the oceans and uncover more secrets. All right, in this story, you're going to see a bunch of dates. So let's talk about it. Which event takes place first? Does Sylvia go on a trip to the Indian Ocean? Or B, does Sylvia go to college? Or C, does Sylvia have a family? Or D, Sylvia designs a submarine. Which event takes first in this story? The information presented in this passage is mainly organized by comparison and contrasting, or G, in chronological order. Chronological order means there's a list of dates and it kind of goes in order as the dates get older. Or H, by cause and effect. Or J, with main ideas and support. Number 15, why did the author include paragraph 4 in the passage? A, to show why Sylvia Earle began studying sperm whales. B, to show where Sylvia Earle went to college. C, to show how Sylvia Earle began doing scientific research. Or D, to show when Sylvia Earle started working for the National Geographic Society. So you're going to have to look back on paragraph 4 and see which one of these options it talks about. Number 16, how did Dr. Earle earn the nickname Her Deepness? F, by walking on the ocean floor and diving in a submarine. G, by studying sea life. H, by teaching the people about the ocean. Or J, by following whales from New Zealand to Alaska. Which one of these earned her the nickname Her Deepness? Number 17. In which decade did Sylvia help design a small submarine? Now, decade is a chunk of time that is 10 years. If you look at all these options, they go by tens. So you have to look in the story where she helped design the small submarine and see which one of these decades it would fit into, which one of these categories. A, the 1950s, B, the 1960s, C, the 1970s, or D, the 1980s. Number 18, in what year did Sylvia Earle live underwater for 2 weeks? Go back and look at the story very carefully and match the date up. Is it F, 1935, G, 1964, H, 1970, or J, 1979? Number 19, what made Sylvia different from most other scientists who went on research trips in the 1960s? So find that date and read about it. Is it A, she was a woman who had young children? Or B, she'd always been curious about ocean life? Or C, she worked for the National Geographic Society? Or D, she was from Florida? Okay, number 20. When did Sylvia set a record for the depth in undersea walking? So look back to the story to see when she set the record for being the deepest walking under the sea. Was it F, 1952, G, 1964, H, 1979, or J, 1982? Double check all your answers, please. Make sure your name is on this paper. Staple and turn in. Thank you for your time.